Going back to talking about the Knicks earlier, when we were talking about potential destinations for Donovan Mitchell. They got or at least a former All Star that could potentially be on his way out as well. Julius Randle, not had a great year, hasn't seemed to have gotten along with Knicks fans that great over the last month or so of the season, and just signed a new big contract extension. But what do you think the odds are Julius Randle's back in a New York Knicks jersey next year?
20%. 25. I'll give him 25. His contract's so big, bro.
I think it's like 60, 65. I would say 65% chance he's still in New York at the beginning of next season because I don't think anybody really wants him that much. And I think their asking price might be a little bit too high.
The only reason I said 25 is because I don't think any contract is immovable. And if they really want him gone so bad, like they'll trade him for pennies on the dollar just to get him out of New York. If it's really become that big of an issue, they'll just get him out of there.
But what if he's a negative asset where they have to put things with him?
Sometimes that's what you got to do when you sign somebody to a big contract like that, and then their production is not meeting those standards anymore. Happens a lot, to be honest. It happens.
But if you're not signing anybody, would you rather literally give things away, or would you rather just send him home and let him be away from the team like a John Wall or something?
Well, yeah, you can do that. But, I mean, I think this season's shown, like, the Knicks' direction should be more towards just letting the young guys play. Because even if this team did work out this season, they weren't going to be as good as they were last year. I think that's pretty evident with the moves that they made in the offseason. Like, I didn't think that they would be this bad, but there was going to be a drop-off. Like, I think everybody kind of knew there was going to be some type of drop-off. So I think it's just shown, like, RJ is your future. You traded for Cam Reddish, and might as well let him play. I like Quickly. I like Grimes. I like Obi. Re-sign Mitch Robb. Like, y'all got some really good young assets. And Julius Randle probably doesn't fit the timeline, and he just looks like he doesn't want to be there. Knicks fans are fed up with him. He doesn't even talk to the media anymore. So it's like you might just have to part ways, even if you are like you said, even if he is a negative asset. Just get him out of there. Even just getting rid of a guy can maybe just boost the morale just a little bit, because he just all the reports is like he's on the other side of the locker room, like away from his teammates and stuff. It's just like crazy stuff for a team that last year was like the NBA darlings. Like everybody liked watching the Knicks and they were happy to see their success, and now it's a complete 180 this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's definitely some level of likelihood he gets moved. Having someone that's much of a negative in the locker room is never a positive thing, especially if it's someone who's very much underperforming his expectations in his contract. He's projected to be making $26 million next year, which isn't outrageous as far as moving a contract. So they'll probably be able to find someone that's relatively interested in him, but they won't get a ton back for him, I can't imagine. But I can't imagine they would have to give up a ton of things to get rid of him. But like, as you say, like moving to the youth, moving to their young assets and giving them more minutes is definitely the way forward for them. I mean, they've played some of their best basketball over the last few weeks while it's been RJ and Quickly and Obi Toppin and Jericho Sims, and they've had some nice young guys getting some good minutes and actually playing good basketball. So that's been good to see. That's definitely probably the direction they should be moving forward at this point. I know it sets them back probably another year or two, which would not have been what they expected after their season last year. But there's some fine pieces there. There's still some things you can work with. I guess the next question is then, if Randall's out, you push the timeline back a little bit. Does that mean Tom Thibodeau's gone as well?
When it comes to Tibbs, I think that it's pretty formulaic on how the time goes now. I feel like this has pretty much just been his thing. As he gets somewhere, and then usually there's some pretty early success. You think, okay, this is doing pretty well. It's like this team is better than they were before. Some good things are happening. But it seems like his teams peak really early. It seems like they peak in the regular season, can't really do as much in the playoffs. And then usually, once they get figured out, they get really, really figured out. It's like you go into the future, and the team is not as good as they were at their peak. And it's like these early peaks, these regular season peaks for his teams, I feel like he's just kind of a floor raiser. It's like your team has been down in the dumps for so long, let's get some happen. Like the Timberwolves, even honestly, like the Bulls aren't really doing much after Jordan and before Tibbs, and then now the Knicks. It's like teams have not done anything for a while. You get Tibbs in there, he gets some like a playoff appearance, a little bit of success, and then it just doesn't work. And it seems like at this point, teams might as well just get Tibbs for a little morale boost and then move away. Because if it's anything like it was in Minnesota, I don't think they're going back up to where they were.
Yeah, he's very Doc Rivers-esque in a way. Like you said, a floor raiser. And it really is like the same thing, just a different team, I guess. Like his Bulls run was probably his best one, and then the Timberwolves was that 1 year, I guess, success that made the playoffs. But then after that, it was bad. He got fired. Everything that I've seen says they're bringing him back for next season, but it's the Knicks, so I wouldn't guarantee that is 100% accurate. He could easily get fired, in the offseason. It could easily happen. And if you go with the youth movement, I think it would be smarter to get a coach that can come in, help develop guys, and, learn with the new group instead of, Tibbs, who's trying to win. So he's going to play Alec Burks 35 minutes and Nerlens Noel 30 minutes when he's healthy. Like, that's just what Tibbs is going to try and do. So, to answer your question, Devin, are they going to move on? I think they might. I think they they see what they have with this young group who's been playing pretty steady since they've, given them more playing time. So, like I said, it would be smart for them to get a coach. Kenny Atkinson always comes to mind when I say a young team because he's just so good at developing guys. So just somebody like that can just really learn with this new group.